The reason why God tells us to put to death sodomites is because it's a real twisted cycle. It's a twisted cycle, and it sounds so harsh, and it is harsh. It doesn't sound harsh, it is harsh. And but this is why, man. Think about this for a second, man. And then let me also say, before I say it, I've known people who believe, who've been molested. I've known people who've been raped, and it does do something to them, especially early on. Now, some of them move on, but sometimes they don't, and they just, their lives are ruined and perverted forever. It's real sad, and I'm just saying that because, I do these videos, and people know what I believe. It's just like, it's the world trying to, single you out, like, oh, you're one of these people that believes homos should be put to death. How could you say that in this? Like, that's how the world is. And even Christians, you already know how it goes. And this is the thing, though, right? It's a twisted cycle. And then this is the statement that people say, and I'm defending this statement, but I'm not trying to like really go into depth with it. But when a pastor says like all homos or homos are pedophiles, you got to realize that it's not just every single homosexual wants to, has touched a child or has been with a child in some type of way. What you don't understand is it's mental, like Bruce Jenner, use him for example. This man gets up in the media and he's praised and uplifted for cutting off his privy member, and they call him courageous and like it's some type of badge, and if I'm crazy for saying that this world is sick and just completely lost its sanity because a man cuts off his privy member and then gets up and then looks at and then says to the kids, they all get to see him in the magazines and they, you hear about it. That's molestation. No child needs to hear that stuff. When I was a kid, I never heard stuff like that. I couldn't even imagine hearing stuff like that. I would think it was foolishness. I hope my mother would straightway rebuke it and tell me that's a bunch of garbage, baby, or whatever. But this is the twisted cycle. A homo touches a kid, or some pervert, not even if he's a homo, even if he's, I just call them sodomites, perverters of the flesh. They go after strange flesh. They touch a kid, whether he's 5, 6. A lot of these children are molested for years, and nobody knows about it. From the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way up to like the low teens, 13, they be molested and touched and sometimes even raped, and then they grow up and they themselves become sodomites. And now this is the justice. If somebody would have grabbed that homo when they first found out that he had these vile affections, when they first found out that he, once he slept with a man, if you're a man, he should have been put to death, the first one. Now, when you don't put him to death and you don't make an example out of him, that victim, that got touched might feel like, they're angry with God. No justice was served for them. Their life was messed up. Nothing happened to this man. He just got to live his life. And that's a curse almost. It's just like he should have been put to death. That dude that touched that kid or that young person who didn't know any better, the Bible says all the answers are there. He says they beguile unstable souls. They can't be trusted. That's why I would never trust them around my kid. I love my daughter too much. That's why I have a hatred for the sodomites, because I love children. I don't even want to take the risk. And I believe that, they got this type of perversion in them. It's not natural, okay? And that sodomite should have been put to death, but instead there was no justice for the victim. Now he grows up, and now he's a sodomite, and then it spreads and it spreads and it spreads, and disease, and they become even more angry with God, and that's why they're reprobate. It's real twisted. And, you know, to be afraid to say something about it is to really not stick up for the victims. You know, there's a lot of victims of molestation and rape. Way too many. We hear about these stories way too much. And I wish, man, you sodomite sympathizers, you need to get up out of here. You need to check yourself and get right with God. Because it's wicked. It's evil. It's deviant. Think about the children.